get back to you. I got somebody waiting on me right now. But listen, I really appreciate it and thank you again for the congratulations. It really, really means a lot to me. So Fred, you have a great day, and I'll say hello to Guyana because you know I have business in Guyana now. So listen, I gotta go. Talk to you soon, buddy. Take care. Welcome. Hey, I forgot, but I remembered you. Thank you for joining in to the Abundant Living Show. And the reason why we're here today is because I want to talk about something that's really monumental. And what I want to talk about is free enterprise. See, free enterprise is more than just selling some cookies or doing a car wash or something that you do as a hobby or maybe as something you do as a pastime. Free enterprise is what created America, what made America great. It was free enterprise that had Thomas Edison trying to figure out how to create the light bulb. It was free enterprise, not free enterprise, but free enterprise that had Alexander Graham Bell create the telephone. So free enterprise is a very innovative type of an element that everybody is not in true possession of. Now, you don't learn it in school because in school they teach you how to matriculate and they teach you how to earn a degree or diploma, and you can become a great manager and a great office manager and a great office manager extraordinaire. However, they will never teach you how to be wealthy in school. They do not teach you how to really create in school. They don't even teach you how to think in school. As a matter of fact, creative, productive thinkers are normally kind of isolated from the rest. If you don't march to the beat of the common drum, you can't march in the parade. That's how it kind of goes in America. So let's talk about free enterprise. Let me give you an example as to why this is really something that you should focus on. About 25 years ago, I was in New York City and I went to a Thanksgiving dinner. And at the Thanksgiving dinner, my brother-in-law is Oliver. He introduced me to a friend of his, which is Nathaniel. And about the first week in December, I see Nathaniel and I'm walking down the street. He says, "Hey, listen, man, I got a question. Can you?" And I'm looking at him like, "What are you trying to say to me?" And he says, "Can you possibly loan me $10,000? And I said, "Well, not being nosy, but what do you need $10,000 for?" And he said, "I want to buy some airspace." I said, "You want to buy airspace? What does that mean?" He said, "Air." I said, "The kind of air you put into a balloon?" He said, "Yes." And I told him, "No, I'm not giving you my money. No, I'm not loaning you my money. And truthfully, I doubt you'll be able to repay me. Nobody buys $10,000 worth of air." He says, "Okay," we parted ways. And about a month, maybe 2 months later, I'm walking down 42nd and 5th Avenue, 42nd Street and 5th Avenue, Manhattan, New York. And as I'm walking there, I hear somebody blowing their horn frantically. I hear somebody pounding on the horn. So I look around, and lo and behold, I see a Rolls Royce convertible. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that is a beautiful car. But then the person blowing the horn is Nathaniel. He's actually driving down the street in a Rolls Royce convertible. And I'm looking at this guy. He was just walking 2 months ago. But now I see him in a convertible. So I asked him to pull over. I jumped in front of the car, wouldn't even I wanted him to hit me if he wasn't gonna pull over, okay? I was just talking, pull over. So he pulls over the car and I asked him, "What happened? Whose car is this?" He said, "This is my car." I said, "Wow. If this is your car, then the question is, where'd you get it from? Is this a stolen car, man? You driving a stolen car?" And he started laughing. He said, nah, not at all. So he pulls over and we start talking. So my first question is, what happened? The last time I saw you, you were trying to get me to give you 10 grand, but now you're doing pretty good. Nate, what's going on? And he told me this and it really made me laugh. And he said, "Do you remember when I asked you to let me hold $10,000 for some airspace?" And I said, "Yes, I do." That was our first conversation. Yes, it was very memorable. What happened? He said, "Well, the airspace I was talking about was 1 mile of airspace between cellular towers. Okay, and it was going for $10,000 at the time. AT&T was selling a mile of airspace, cellular space, for $10,000. He said, I invested in that, and literally in the last 60 days, I have made close to $2.5 million. And I looked at him in total disbelief. And I asked him, I said, well, if that's the case, I got 10,000, I can give you in like 15 minutes. Can I still buy in? He says, you can buy in, but the $10,000 is now $450,000. I said, but I don't have $450,000. He said, I understand. He said, but let me tell you something. I feel bad because I didn't know enough about it to explain it to you properly. And you didn't know enough about it to ask me the right questions. I'm sorry, but I guess it's just a missed opportunity. And I never forgot that lesson because that kind of left the impression in my mind that I don't have to know all the answers to profit from it. There's a man named Bob Proctor who once said, to acquire great wealth requires specialized knowledge. However, the recipient of the great wealth does not actually have to be in possession of the great knowledge, the specialized knowledge. He merely has to have access to the specialized knowledge. And that's something that I realize is very true. So if you look at the reality of life, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to have brain surgery. You just have to have access to a man who studied brain surgery for him to perform it on you. So what I'm saying to you now is this. What do you do for a living? What are you in? And this is so important. What are you in right now? Because you're going to be in something until you die. And even when you die, you're going to be in something. So what are you in? Are you in poverty? Are you in employment? Are you in an apartment? Are you in a car that you're paying for month to month for a 5-year term? What are you in? Are you in a position that you can actually, honestly, make a difference in your life and the lives of those that you know? Let me give you an example. I've asked this question in several meetings, several presentations, and most people silently sit by in embarrassment. Watch this. If you got a phone call right now from a loved one, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your son or your daughter, a cousin, a niece, and they called you and told you, listen, right now, I'm in XYZ police station, and I'm going to need $5,000 to get out of prison, to get out of jail. So I need $5,000 to come home. How long would your loved one stay in jail? Think about that for a second. How long would your loved one actually stay in jail while you try to raise the $5,000, or as you consider you can invest $5,000 in this individual? What are you going to do? And the funniest thing is, if you really look at what's going on, you have to realize that if you're not in a position to financially express your love for other people, then how do you express your love? Okay, I'll give you a little bit of food for thought. If you honestly tell yourself the truth, then you realize that your job, as great as your job is probably the greatest job in the country, and you're probably making $300,000, maybe $400,000 every year, and you're getting about 4 or 5 month vacation, correct? Or you could be like that guy's job, who's paying them every other week. He's barely making enough money to really survive, and he's going on vacation and it's home because he can't afford to travel. Now, the funniest thing is this. What's the whole show about? It's about free enterprise. Why is it about free enterprise? Because when you have free enterprise, you have the ability to create a world within a world. In other words, let me give you a case in point example. It feels good to wake up in the morning and go wherever your mind takes you and have the money to go there. It feels great to know that I believe in God and I believe in His scriptures, and I'm going to bless somebody because I have the ability to do that. I know the Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive. But you know what? If you don't have any money, you can't bless. You can't give if you don't have any money. So is it money? No. It's how you make the money. It's what you do. For example, if you're interested, you can join me and I can show you documented ways to make money. You can start your own business, get 22 different tax breaks. You can do all this for less than $200. The best thing I can tell you is that in retrospect, when you sit back and you realize that your life is not a mistake and that you really are a strong individual, you just need direction. We all go to that distance. We all go that route. We all go down that street. We all take that avenue. Because the lowest point in life is no direction. When you have no direction, you will drift along the waters of life. You will absolutely 100% find yourself drifting down the waters of life because you do not know where to go. And how do you know when you don't know where to go? Because when you don't know where to go, you are lost. Lost, what does that really mean? You are without direction. That doesn't mean you're not doing something. Because I know a lot of lost people that got great jobs. Come on now. I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of lost people who are doctors. A lot of lost people who are professors. These are people who are intelligent. They just don't have direction. Now, all of the millions of people who got laid off in the last 10 years. Think about what I'm going to say right now. This is so prolific. All of the last million or two people who got laid off in the last 10 years. They had a goal. They went to work on time. See, they didn't fire people because they were late. They didn't fire people because they were tardy or they didn't come to work every day. There were some people who went to work early and stayed late. There were some people who worked on weekends and holidays. There were some people who did double shifts. But still, when the time came, they lost their income. How did they do that? They lost their income because they were a good soldier. And what do good soldiers do? They follow orders. Now, the key thing is this. Are you an order follower or are you an order giver? Now, an order giver is a boss. Let's talk about it the way it really is. If you are a boss, that doesn't mean that you are a bully. Okay, don't get it confused. If you are an entrepreneur, that doesn't mean you are careless and you are shiftless and you have no responsibilities. That's not what it means. If you are a producer, all it means is that you use your God-given ability to produce and create an income and you live on that. I know somebody right now and the only thing they do for a living is they play the organ for different churches. I know people and the only thing they do for a living is they sing around the country. I know people who literally 100% they own their own Photoshops or they own their own videography stores and they own their own schools. I know people who own colleges. And the thing is, the most beautiful thing is, these are people who were born with the same gifts that you have, the same abilities you have, and the only thing they did different than you, they chose the direction to walk in this thing called life. So let me ask you this, in all honesty, have you ever decided that you were just tired of being tired? Have you ever decided that, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore? Have you ever just looked in the mirror and said, today I'm going to start living my life to the fullest? Because if you have, then this is your day. Let me tell you something really funny. You're going to love this one. This is a classic. You're not accidentally watching this show. Okay? You're not accidentally watching a show that was just produced by a conveyor belt or a mill house that produces TV shows. Okay, it took me a lot to get here, and it took you a lot to get there. We're in connection right now for one simple reason, because destiny is calling so many people from around the world. Destiny is calling so many leaders. Destiny is calling people who have new ideas. Destiny is calling people that's just not afraid to try. Destiny really honestly wants you to pick up your phone and listen to the dial tone. And if you can hear the dial tone, then that means you can make a call. And if you can make a call, I'm going to recommend that you call yourself and you ask yourself, are you ready to start living your life more abundantly? See, that's why the name of the show is Abundant Living. Because this is a show about really living your life more abundantly. You want to believe in God, you want to have faith, you want to be a Christian or a Muslim or a Catholic or whatever your religion is, but you want to have faith. Well, let me tell you something, and this is so beautiful. You need to have faith in you too. See, you can believe God for heaven, but you can't believe in you for earth. Something's wrong. If you can believe that you can go up in the clouds and you go to the heavenly throne, but you can't believe you for being able to pay your bills on time, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. And it's not fair to ask God to help you get money. God says He will give you the ability to create wealth. He never said He'll give you a check. And why is that so important? It's important because you need to understand where your wealth comes from. Your wealth comes from your mind. Your mind is influenced by God. Now this is the key, and so I want you to really understand that. Let me get very specific. For less than $200, you can go into a business, travel the world, make a lot of money, and honestly, see a difference in your life within the next 30 days. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because in reality, somebody needs to hear it. This may not be for everybody. This may not be for you, and I respect it if it's not. I need somebody who's going to, I'm so excited. I need somebody who's going to be a doctor. I need somebody who's going to pump gas. I need somebody who's going to be a butcher. I need somebody who's going to cut grass. So everybody can't be a millionaire. That's true. That's just the way it is in America. I'm sorry. But there's always room for another millionaire. There's always room for another leader. There's always room for another entrepreneur. And the question is, do you truly want to be successful? Being successful means you're honest. And when you tell the truth, you've got to admit, yes, I have failed at certain ventures. Yes, I have failed at certain projects. Yes, I have let my people down. My family, my friends, my loved ones, yes, I have. But I don't want to give up. Thomas Edison tried 2,000 times to develop the light bulb before he accomplished his goal. So you can fail. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is how many times you get up. So the question is really simple. Are you ready to embrace your destiny? See, let me tell you something. I know a bunch of people, and these people are so incredible. They're incredible, and they live an incredible lifestyle. I know people making $10,000 a week, $15,000 a week, $25,000 a week, and you might say, "Oh, that's incredible. That's too hard to believe. Nobody makes that kind of money." And you know what? Perhaps nobody in your circle makes that kind of money. But let me talk about something that maybe you can relate to. Do you have life insurance? Most people in America do not, believe it or not. Do you happen to have an IRA? Most people in America do not, believe it or not. Are you banking on Social Security for a retirement system? Believe it or not, most people, they are. Now, this is the funniest thing. Everybody's about healthcare and Obamacare and all that. Do you have health coverage for real? Well, I'm talking to somebody. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I know somebody's hearing me. Somebody's really, they're kind of understanding and thinking about what I'm saying. And what I'm going to say to you is this. Today, for less than $200, matter of fact, I'm going to swipe that, I'm going to clean that out. For less than For less than $159, you can go into business for yourself. I will help you. I have mentors. I have a team of people that are set up specifically for this, just to help individuals, people from around the world, go into business, be able to support your children, be able to be a full. Let me slow this down, and let me take this off because you got to see my face for this one. How nice would it be to be a full-time mom or a full-time dad? To actually be able to spend time with your children in the daytime, not the weekends and not the evening time, but in the middle of the day. Take your children out to Dairy Queen, get them ice cream. Maybe go skating with them or do something really creative like, I don't know, play ball with them. Children got Xboxes and they got laptops and they got iPads and iPods and they got this, they got that, they got that, they got this. But they don't have a full-time mom. They don't have a full-time dad. And the question is why? Because mom and dad are grinding as hard as they can just to make a buck. Now, it's a beautiful thing when I come around people, like for example, I'm sitting with a gentleman right now. He's an entrepreneur, and he's been successful at what he's been doing for many years. And the funniest thing is, I felt privileged to do business with him. Why? Because being around him is a blessing to see a person who's conscious, who's a free thinker, and somebody who's influenced by God. That's what entrepreneurs are based on. I don't care what religion you have. I don't care how many times you go to church. No, but when a person is influenced by God, you know when you're in the presence of this person. Why? Because you can feel God all around them. You can feel God all around you. And because you can, it's nothing but a wonderful experience. Now, what I'm saying to you is this, not a religious thing, but what I'm saying to you is this. If you depended on God, half as much as you depend on your employer, you might be better off. Yeah, let me say that again. If you depended on God to give you intuition, inspiration, and influence to be successful in business, half as much as you depend on your employer, you might be better off. So today, I'm going to ask you to get in touch with the website on the bottom of the screen. Just go to the website on the bottom of the screen, fill out the form for information, and watch a video. I'm going to teach you how to become successful. I'm going to teach you how to make $1, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a week. And if you really, really, really don't believe me, call my bluff. Call my bluff. And the best thing about it is, you don't have to believe me. Like I said, you don't have to know all the answers before you jump in the water. The only thing you have to realize is you need to get wet. And some of us need to be wet with success. Some of us really need to truly, honestly, get baptized with success. Don't you realize that right now we're sitting in a position where this is the greatest hours of history? Right now we're in a point in time where we are really literally writing history. And the question is, now this is a personal question. I'm going to be a little nosy now. I'm going to ask you something that's going to make you really shake. But let me ask you, matter of fact, not you, how about you? Let me ask you a question. What did your grandfather's grandfather do for a living? I'll wait. Or in the words of another funny gentleman, wait for it. What did your grandfather's grandfather do for a living? And unfortunately, most of us do not know. And do you know why? Because they were they were an employee somewhere. And they didn't do anything that was so monumental that was worth remembering or passing on. Unfortunately, that's true. Now, you got some people, and they'll tell you, my great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy was on the Mayflower. Why? Because he did something historical. However, if you ask them what did his father do, they don't know. They don't have no clue. Why? Because people don't remember you. They remember what you've done. And what could you do for your family? You left them with some bills when you died. You left them in debt when you died. You left them with horrible memories of how you were never there, but you were always at work. Yeah, well, that's called truth. Now, this is the funniest thing about truth. You have an opportunity to change it. So the question is really simple. What are you going to be remembered for? Think about it. Let's call it what it is. We're all going to die one day. But what are we going to be remembered for is the key. Are you going to be remembered as a hard worker? Because God knows I don't ever want to be known as a hard worker. I'm a smart worker, not a hard worker. That's number one. Number two, are you going to be known for that parent that was never in their children's life? They had money, but they just didn't have a father. They had money, but they just didn't have a mom. And I guess the most unique question I can really ask you is, on your dying bed, are you going to be pleased with all the hours you put in for your employer? I mean, realistically, and to be honest with you, let's just cut the mustard. You're paying for somebody's children to go to private school. You're paying for somebody's wife to wear the finest clothes. You're paying for somebody's husband to pay off his house. You're paying for somebody's car in cash. You are doing it. You're just not doing it for you. Your children are going to the community pool. Your children are going to day camp and summer camp and all that stuff. But everybody's children are not doing that. Some people travel in the summertime because it's summertime. Some people actually enjoy their life. And I know you're in the struggle, and I know you're working hard, and I know you do it every single day, and I know you're making the best. Somebody asked me the other day, why don't we hang out sometime and have some fun? And I asked him, I can't hang out with you and have fun. He said, why not? I said, you work for a living. He said, what does that mean? I said, the things I want to do, for example, let's go to Disney World in the middle of the week. You can't do that. Let's go on a cruise for 10 days. You can't do that. Let's go and just buy something. Let's buy a piece of property or a car or something. You can't do that. Why? Because you work for a living. I live for a living. And what I'm saying to you is this. There's a phrase I heard the young man said, imagine me taking advice from a working man. That's a funny statement. I laugh at it all the time. That's one of my favorite phrases because in reality, an employee can only speak from an employee's disposition. He can never tell me how to be an employer. He can never tell me how to be an owner. He can tell me how to rent stuff, but he can't tell me how to own stuff. So what I'm saying to you, and this is coming to a close, this has been a good show. I kind of like it. I kind of like the way it's flowing. But I want to say this to you. If you want to be in business, if you really want to own your own business, if you're a single mother, if you're a senior citizen, if you are a father who's out of work, no matter what your past has been, I can help you get on track for success. The only thing I'm asking you to do right now is stop beating yourself up. Your past is not going to come in your future to haunt you. Let me say it again. Your past is not going to come into your future to haunt you. The only thing you have to do is realize, I failed in the past. Accept it. It is what it is. And then learn a different route to travel. We've all heard this. I'm trying to say it like Bill Cosby. We've all heard this expression that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Are you insane today? Are you really insane? Or do you have sanity? If you want something new, do something new. And if you do something new, don't be surprised because you get new results. Join me today. Now, just so you know, I do have a party. I'm planning a Christmas party right now. My Christmas party is going to be at the Vatican. I'm going to Italy, Rome, or Rome, Italy. I'm going to Vatican City. I invite you to join me, for those of you who can. It's not a monetary thing. It's simply a matter of, do you have the time to go to Rome? Do you have the time to go to Disney World? Do you got the time to go to Jamaica? Do you got the time to go to Cancun or Aruba? Do you have time? Because earning money is great, but if you have no time to spend it, it's called slavery. Getting something and no time to enjoy it is really not abundant living. So again, contact me at the website beneath, and I will definitely get back to you as soon as I can possibly do it. And what I'm going to ask you to do right now is you want to go to this site. You don't want to make another day. Don't take another second. No, get a pen right now. Write it down. I got about another 15 seconds on the air, and then I'll be done. Get a pen and write it down. Get a pen and write it down. And thank God for you. Thank you for tuning in. And please have an abundant life. Goodbye now.